Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's A Rollers podcast here today. Today's topic we're going to be talking about.
Okay, just for everyone to know, this is a topic that is probably going to piss some people off, but I have no beef in the skating scene or any problems with anybody. This is a topic that we can talk on and make a really good conversation about.
Yes.
He doesn't have any beef anymore that I know of, right?
Nobody has beef here. Okay, 100%.
So this is all just a topic we can talk about, which is basically the whole stealing moves and cockiness.
And the yes, and the cockiness behind the sport, man. It's ridiculous.
It's beyond ridiculous, honestly. Honestly, in my terms, there's really not a problem. If I'm teaching somebody, cool. I'll teach you how you do things as long as you give me credit in the end of how I did this. It's not yours. You didn't create this. I have no problem with it.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Being where I work at Skate World, I've taught a lot of the people there how to do jam skating, how to do balance skating. They'll all go, hey, Nick taught me. But there's always that one rotten apple in the group that just goes, I did this.
No,
man.
That's the thing, was even with me being, involved in the skating industry for so long, back then when I did not know how to shuffle for my life, I still give credit. I still give credit to those who sat there and taught me how to do it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's the fair thing to do.
You have to, because they take their time. It's so important to give credit to those who actually, those who actually put the work in for it. Honestly, I feel as though that way, and it's a lot of people in the skating industry feel that way too as well. So if somebody takes the time to sit there and teach you something and go into detail and really take their time on you, I feel as though they deserve that recognition.
Yeah, of course, especially if you're going to competitions like Heartbreaker, Shut Up, and Skate or Summer Jam, and you go and do a whole set, and a lot of moves from that set, I ask you, where did you get that from? Did you create it yourself? And you say yes, you're basically stealing a lot of credit from the person that sat there and taught you and created the moves themselves to actually sit down and teach you.
Yep.
You don't do that.
Ooh, and one of the things that's really, really something is that I feel like a lot of skaters, they have this pride issue, you know what I mean? And it's if somebody, every time I go somewhere, I always learn from skaters, regardless if they're better than me or if they're not. Everybody has their own specific style, the way they do things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's if they have their own specific style, you can sit there and learn from them, regardless if you're better than them or not. And with this pride thing, I just feel like a lot of skaters, they have that pride behind them to where they don't want to admit that they learned something from somebody.
That's a big piece of the part that there's a difference between pride and there's a difference between cockiness. There really, really is. Because when you're having pride, you're like, hey, yeah, I just did that and I did pretty good at it. When you're cocky, that's when the whole crap talking comes in. Yeah, I did this and you bet you can't do anything better than I can. It's good to have pride in what you do, especially when you do a set and you're like, yeah, I just did that.
Yeah.
But then taking that extra step to be no reason as to why.
Yeah.
Extra reason to why someone would take that extra step to start crap talking someone and make them feel bad at what they just did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a point.
I think it's honestly just, like I said, it all narrows down to that pride thing. You know what I mean? People want to seem like the bigger person in this industry, and I feel like, to be honest, let's be real. You have a lot of benefits if you are looked upon as a bigger person, or if you are looked upon as a role model, so to speak. So, if you're somebody who sits there and, quote, invents moves, and, there are going to be a lot of people out there who are going to look up to you that, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's where it all falls down in the category aspect.
I agree with you in a lot of senses, but the one thing I still see is that it's good to have the confidence, pride, and cockiness are all different things.
They're all different.
Especially pride and confidence go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a really good pride and confidence in what you do, but once you take that extra step as to you start making someone else feel bad of what they just did, there's no point in it. Do you know how many skaters we've probably lost in the beginning from people that take that cockiness, yeah, I can do that better than you can, you should just stop what you're doing in general. We've probably lost a lot of people who are trying to learn how to do this just from that one motion.
To follow up on that, it's even then, that's why this industry is dying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of people don't even want to go to the rinks anymore. A lot of people don't even want to be able to express themselves because, they're scared of being judged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That too. That's something that I feel as though us as an industry need to work on. I feel like not many skaters out there need to have a high horse, We're not gonna sit here and name names.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel as though a lot more skaters in this industry should be a lot more humble.
There's a lot of problem with people who are like, yeah, I'm the highest horse in the land, but in reality, it's like, dude, we get you're good. You don't have to keep telling us that you're good. We understand it. Believe me, your social media says all of it to begin with.
Yeah.
It's like when you hold yourself on the pedestal, like, yeah, I'm famous. Are you really famous that you have to keep saying it? Like, that doesn't make any sense in my opinion. And that's why a lot of people probably get discouraged because, like, oh, I can't top that. Oh, there's no point in me even trying to top that. So people are like, I don't see a point.
Yeah.
And that's where we're probably losing a lot of people because a lot of people that will do what we do feel as though they're on a complete high horse.
Yeah.
And it's just, dude, you're in a skating rink. Calm down. You're not even at a competition yet.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Like, competitions are a whole other sense, too.
I mean, as far as, like, when it comes to battling and stuff like that, yeah, being cocky and putting off, some moves every once in a while to represent being cocky, that's fine. It's part of battling.
It's all in good fun, too.
Yeah, which is fine. It's just as long as you guys, you're on good terms when the battle's over, you guys are okay and you learn from each other. That's the way I look at it as,
I think it's a really big battle of being humble still. Because not a lot of people know how to humble themselves down and sit down and teach somebody. Like, there's a lot of problem with that. Especially, like, oh, you're not good enough to even do this. Why should I teach you the more advanced stuff to go into doing this? It's like, when I first learned how to pike, you had to figure out yourself because no one else would sit down and teach you.
Yeah.
Which, I don't get why. I really don't.
Yeah. And to follow up, shout out to Hunter Collins for coming by to Skate World Tampa, man. I appreciate that. And you spending time to teach me some things. But I learned a lot of things from Hunter.
Yeah.
I'm not out here, thinking I'm the best. I'm not out here, I learned a lot of things from skaters, not to sound like a douche, but who are less skilled than I am. I learned a lot of things, from them as well. So shout out to those people who have helped me in my skating career and helped me with being creative and the way I, express myself too as well.
Yeah, and
so
I know what you mean. I really do. Not a lot of people shuffle competitively anymore. They do more of jam skating, which is I'm in that world, but I'm not in that world. But I'm more in the shuffle skating world.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people that really try and push that forward. They want to mainly focus on jam skating, whereas us shuffle skaters, like, well, we have to create everything on our own. And that's where the world I'm coming from.
Right.
It's like where most of the stuff that I do in my sets when I shuffle, I created. And that I have to work on. And someone's like, hey, how'd you do that? I'm like, okay, I'll sit down and teach you how to do it if you're more than willing to learn.
Yeah.
But if, like, I'm not going to name these skaters, there's a lot of people in the rinks that I go to that will see me do what I do and then try and do what I do without even adding their extra little flair to it. And it'll literally be an exact copy of me.
Yeah.
And then they go, yeah, I just did that. I created that. I'm like, dude, you just saw me 5 minutes ago just doing this move, and yet you're not even doing it right, first of all. And second of all, you just did it wrong.
And I can name two off the bat that...
No.
Not names of skaters.
Yeah.
But names of, the moves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can name two moves that, off the bat.
And, like, to the biggest shout out to people that have learned from me, that see what I do and then ask me how I do it, and then still give me credit that I taught you how to do that.
Yes.
Thank you. You're the good ones in the group, and I really appreciate it. There's a lot of people that won't even give that recognition because they want to be on that high horse and have that pride behind themselves, but they're getting it all the wrong ways.
Right. I just feel as though you guys, it's really important. It's really important to show that. You know what I mean? Because us as teachers, we work hard. We honestly work hard to sit there and, blood, sweat, and tears to sit there and come up with something creative that nobody else has done.
Dislocations and all.
A lot of us have sacrificed a lot. And, to get credit for what we put out there to the industry is really valuable to us. You know what I mean?
Like, look, we're sitting here trying to talk about it and try to bring awareness to this kind of thing so people try and humble themselves and try and really go, hey, you're better than me, but I want to get to your level. Mm-hmm. Not that I want to pass you and be an ass about it. I want to be there and be like, hey, I got your level. I can do what you do. Let's go have some fun and do it.
Exactly.
And you being in a lot more competitions than I have been, do you have, like, not stories, but experiences that really bring out this topic as to why it should change.
As to why it should change, I feel like industry growth. I get a lot of DMs and stuff like that in regards to the industry's dying out. This skating rink needs help because not many people come by anymore, and it all really comes down to either the skating rink management or it comes down to either who comes to that skating rink specifically, and it all wraps around drama. And with that being said, that drama comes from what? Comes from either somebody thinking they are on a high horse, or they feel as though they're the best in the rink, so nobody can really step up to them or tell them what to do, or etc. etc. So I really feel like it's all comes down to that aspect, the industry growth. If we don't cut this out right now, it's gonna die. I mean, these kids that are looking up to us, guys. I mean, come on, you gotta think are the kids really gonna think positive on looking at people that are, so self-conceited and, thinking that their ego is just insanely high. You know what I mean? I don't feel like kids would look upon somebody like that as a positive role model.
I don't want to see it as like a positive role model. I'd see as more, there's two ways that could happen. There's one, the kid would be like, no, that's not the right thing to do, and stop. Or that kid will learn to have those attributes, to think that they're on a high horse and to think that they're so much better when they just started off, literally just starting. They'll think they're on the higher horse for being able to figure out one thing, and then we'll tell other kids and make them or discourage them to even try and do what he just did. That's the kind of thing that we need to cut out ridiculously so bad.
Yes, and if we don't, this industry will die out, and there's not going to be too many people. There's not going to be a future for this industry.
No.
And with that being said, in our previous, I think the last episode that we made, there's not too many companies in this industry either. So with that being said, if there's not going to be people in the industry, there's not going to be too many companies. There's just no growth overall if we're all going to sit here and clash heads.
And it all starts with trying to get people to be open to it. And with that high horse, people will be like, nah, not worth my time. And now here we are. And the companies and the rink itself is dying.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, honestly.
So, I mean, as far as shuffle skating, me asking you, as far as shuffle skating goes on, have you ever had that engagement where you learned somebody from somebody else?
Oh, tons and tons of times.
Okay.
Like, some of the stuff that I've learned, I'll give them credit to where you taught me this move, and I molded it myself to be something that I do, and it's completely different from the original move.
Right.
Like, learning something and then creating something out of it, but still giving credit to your teachers is still the best thing to do.
But here's the thing, and I feel like a lot of skaters get confused with this too. So if I were to sit here and teach, so if I was a better shuffle skater than you, and I sat here and teach you some type of shuffle skate, okay? But you put your own twist on your own shuffle skate.
Yeah.
Now, is that yours or is that going to be mine?
The way I say it, that's a very touchy game, honestly, especially when you're like, yeah, I made my own move, but I learned this originally from someone else.
And I feel like that's where a lot of skaters
get confused and be like, no, I created that. No, man. What happened is you learned a move, put your own spin on it, but it's still that original thing. Like, it still has that attribute to the original move. So
right.
It's kind of like a copyright law, not law, but kind of like a copyright thing of like, yeah, you did this, but here we go.
I mean, it's the same thing with shine braids. So say, for instance, if I were to make a trademark, okay, and they do something so simple, as far as, put a rose on the logo, for God's sake, I can't say anything because it's not my logo. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like the same thing. You know what I mean? As far as that.
Yeah, I got you. I really do. But there's a really big difference that I've noticed between southern style skating and how people act compared to also how up north or west or east how they skate. It's a very big difference too.
It is. It is by far. Because me coming from up north, I mean, not many people when I first started jam skating, and not many people knew about jam skating in general. So there's not really many people to be, so to speak, cocky or anything, because they didn't have anything to be cocky about. So, I mean, as far as, coming from down south, I've seen that the skating industry has been a lot bigger. So as far as down south, how do people?
Since I have basically started down here in South, I never realized how big skating really much bigger it is here than it is up there. When we finally talked about how it's different from where you're from, where I'm from. Where I'm from, it's you go to a rink and you instantly know what jam skating is or what the idea of it is basically. Like you walk in, you see people right in the middle going to town at it, especially at the two biggest rinks that we have here in our city.
Right.
Like you instantly see it, especially shuffle skating, jam skating, speed skating, all the different kinds you see immediately in front of you. It's kind of like going to a library and seeing a bunch of different books. You know instantly it's there, and you can pick up on any of those books the moment you want to.
Yeah.
And for when I first started, people seemed a lot more open to teaching here. Like people were very open, like, hey, yeah, come on, I'll help you learn. And especially in the middle when I first started, they're like, I would watch them, I'd sit on the sidelines, that one little kid in the sidelines just looking over, and I hear him, do you want to learn? I'm like, sure, I want to go hurt myself. And just start instantly going into that and wanting to learn. That's how I started. People were always so open, and people were not so much cocky. Like, yeah, there were some parts of it that you can pick up on, like, yeah, I created that, yeah, but it's more of a pride.
Right.
Not much more of a cockiness and arrogance almost to be like, yeah, I did that, yeah, that's me, and I'm better than everybody else. It wasn't like that. It was more like a home away from home kind of thing.
Now, do you think that has something to do with age group too? Because when you were like episode 1, when you were younger, you had older people to look up to, correct?
Yes, I did.
That's the ones that taught you.
Yeah, and
so do you think that high horse thing has something to do with age group too?
Very much so, especially in how social media and that kind of stuff is today. A lot of people sit on a very, very high horse for no reason.
It all comes down to that age group that we talked about last episode.
Yeah,
you know?
and predominantly how much of the skating community, not what we do, is younger. And then what we get into when we are, it's older people, and people are much like 20s to 30s, even 30s kind of pushing it, but even there it's that age group where people really get into it and really start getting into the whole idea of, yeah, I did this, I started all of this, and it just leads into a complete cluster.
So for me, coming down here from South, so basically I moved from Pennsylvania to Atlanta, Georgia. And when I was in Atlanta, Georgia, I saw Ryan in the middle doing his thing. Now Ryan, he's a phenomenal skater by far. One of the most skaters that I looked up to as, being in the jam skating industry. And I've seen nothing but just straight humbleness, you know what I mean, as far as, when it comes to Ryan. And that's what made me want to pursue, jam skating, and made me want to pursue that topic to bring it up north when I moved back to Pennsylvania. And a lot of people were really, really stoked by me being able to jam skate because they never even freaking heard of it.
Yeah.
So it's like me. I could have been the cocky one and said, hey, I came up with it, but I wasn't like that. I told them the history behind it. I told them I went down to Atlanta, Georgia, and learned this from so and so. And I brought it up north, and I just started teaching everybody, and I taught them, like, make sure you're humble about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Then me being in the South, there was a lot of curiosity almost from the kids that walk in and instantly seem like, yeah, I want to learn how to do that. Was it like that up north when you finally when you learned and you went and taught it up there? Was everyone really genuinely interested to go learn?
Yeah, honestly, I had parents come out actually to the middle of the rink, and actually the DJ actually like cut off mid-session and was like, go if you want to go watch, go out in the middle and watch. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people that are interested up north. It's not too big up north, and it's a shame. But me bringing it up north, it did draw a ton of attention. And I had a lot of younger skaters really looking up to me as far as that. Being able to go out and perform and being able to take this to different states, and then being able to follow me on social media and say, hey, wow, like, it's actually possible. So I feel like being that humble individual, you have to keep it on. You know what I mean?
Here's a question that you saw it firsthand that the curiosity that's out there for kids to go and learn.
Right.
What do you think the break is between, yeah, I want to learn, yeah, screw this, I don't like this anymore? What do you think is what stopped them in the middle? Because if there is a genuine curiosity that we've both seen, there shouldn't be a reason why so they stop.
I honestly think it's inspiration. Inspiration. I honestly think so. And we're going to dive deep into this, honestly, because I had two friends. His name was Mello and Jeremiah. You know, they were my best friends. And, you know, before I got into jam skating, they used to be shuffle skaters. When I moved back from Atlanta, Georgia to Pennsylvania, I brought jam skating into their world. You know what I mean? I introduced it to them, and they loved it. You know what I mean? It kept them out of trouble, kept them out of, you know, doing drugs, kept them out of jail. You know what I mean? It kept them from the wrong crowd. And I've noticed that me moving from up north, you know, they lost their inspiration. You know, we used to have practices every Saturday. You know, we used to nail everything on the head as far as that. Do performances, competitions, you name it. You know, I gave these kids motivation. I gave these kids something to fight for.
Yeah.
And me leaving the state, I feel like they lost that motivation. They lost that hope because they don't know where to go.
Yeah.
You know,
I see a lot of that, actually, especially down here. There's where we are, one of our main rinks is in a good area. The other one of our main rinks is not in such a good area.
right?
And you see a lot of kids go there on Friday nights, not just because their parents drop them off, because it's the one place they can go where they won't go to trouble. Like, skating has brought so many kids out of trouble and give them a good crowd to be around that we can't replace that.
Yeah.
It's something that sticks with you and something that inspires you to be, hey, I can do this instead of going off and doing drugs or whatever and committing crimes. And it takes them out of that crowd and puts them in a whole new thing of they can behave, they can learn something new, and something they can use as a crutch almost to get out of things.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really amazing thing that we're losing in skating, and a reason why I think that whole pride thing needs to just be knocked out. Because I think, my personal opinion, that's the second thing that keeps kids from really wanting to keep pursuing to skate, is that they have the lack of inspiration, and then they have the lack of motivation and confidence to go out and be confident with it and go do it.
Yeah.
It's just...
And honestly, I mean, if there's any skaters on my social media that want to come out and skate with me, feel free. I mean, honestly, I always post on what rink I'm going to. If you guys want to come out and join me, join a session, you know, we can learn a few things. I might even learn something off of you and shout you out on it. You know what I mean? So I'm always open to that. I'm always optimistic of, you know, in regards to jam skating. So if you want to come out and, you know, skate with me, by all means.
Especially I'm in the same token for me. If anyone has me on my social media or has me my number or anything and you want to skate with me, be more than happy. I'm willing to teach you. Like, everyone that comes up to me, asks me how to do something, I will sit there and do my damnedest to teach you how to do it.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to skate with me, or if we're ever together skating the same place, let us know on 8 Rollers Podcast.
Yep.
We're more than happy to go.
Definitely.
It's not even a question. We want to bring this industry back. We want to teach people and be humble about it, and then teach them how to be humble what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And more questions than one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just eliminate that high horse, really. You know what I mean? That's the true growth to this industry. Just getting rid of it.
Yep.
You know, so there is no you know, easy way around it. Just let's just cut the BS. Let's just all be nice to each other. Let's all be humble to each other. Let's help each other grow this industry. Let's help each other thrive.
Please.
And this whole industry will succeed.
Yep.
You know, so we can't just keep sitting here and keep putting each other down, regardless of what we put out there. You know what I mean?
There will always be someone better than you.
Exactly.
No matter how you look at it, there will be someone somewhere unknown that is better than
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
And
I
that's...
always say that.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
But you guys want longer episodes? You got the longer episodes, so check us out. And next week, we're going to be making new videos soon. I promise tons more content, too.
Yep. Nick finally brought the mic, so, you know, we got some mic-ness going on. But anyways, guys, stay tuned to our 8 Rollers Podcast. We got us on Instagram at 8 Rollers Podcast, and then on YouTube as well. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button for us. Leave some comments.
Let us know if you guys want us to talk about something, too.
Oh, yeah.
We're more than happy to sit down and talk. We like talking, apparently, so...
Catch you guys later. See you next episode.